Welcome to Module 9, Filming and Editing. Let's make a movie or really good pictures. Filming and editing is something that will take you some time, but let's start with the first thing, getting comfortable on camera. We've talked a little bit about this before, but let's go through it again. First, now that you know your mission, now that you know your content pillars, now that you know who your ideal customer is, now that you understand that making good content, spoken or in a faceless, you understand the hook, the answer, the takeaway. Now that you understand that you should be yourself and film your content anywhere you feel the most comfortable. And now that you understand that you even have the tools at your disposal to understand the keywords, the right hashtags, how to use search engine optimization, and you have some help in writing your own scripts, now we have to practice. That's it. I know that everyone wants me to give you some really easy answer of how it is to get in front of the camera, especially if you're doing spoken videos, and make your life easier. So here are the ways I can tell you that I know have worked with people I've worked with in the past. And these are the same lessons that I learned when I became a keynote speaker. And it's the same lessons that I use with people that I train in person. First and foremost, the one thing I think is a great example is if you are working on camera, to take a picture of someone that you love and you know that loves you. And if it's not a person, it can be an animal. And tape that behind the camera screen. So tape it in a place where you see that person and you know that you're talking to them. If that doesn't work for you, then stand in front of your mirror for a while and practice your scripts. Practice them a little bit more so you feel more comfortable. If you're like me, and sometimes you don't really like to look in the camera all the time, then do it in the shower. That's where I practice most of my conversations. The more that you get an idea of what you're talking about. Now, again, I am not saying you have to script everything down to the last minute and memorize your content, unless that's something you need to do. But the more you start to get confident with the tone you like to use, the pace you like to talk about, the understanding of what you're trying to accomplish with your content, the cadence of your words. Once you start figuring out your style, you practice in that style and it makes life easier. Also, the best way to really get going is to put on your phone and just record basically in your camera. Just record in your camera. Don't even watch it. Don't even go back and look at it again. Turn your camera on, record what you're going to say. If by the time you love it, save it. If you don't like it, just delete it. But keep practicing. Don't post it anywhere. Just keep practicing on your camera. And then that way you'll get more comfortable. Then you can gradually work up to posting your content on your stories, on Instagram stories, on TikTok stories. And the reason I love using stories, especially for people who are a little bit more nervous on camera, is because they disappear in 24 hours. So you don't have to even worry about it. You don't really have to worry about if people are going to see it or comment on it or make a big deal out of it. It is just a good medium to practice and get more connected with people, because honestly, stories for most people are either just behind the scenes looks at their lives, or some people sell a lot in stories. But most of the time, my stories, as I've told you before, are in that recliner back there. I'd say at least 70% of them, I have a blanket on. My husband's talking in the background, and it's just a way for me to connect with people. And I don't care. It doesn't bother me if it flops. It doesn't bother me if I make mistakes. And I hope that you will do that too. Stories are a great way to get more comfortable in front of the camera. And then finally, the one that everybody is a little nervous about, just post it. Just post when you're done. Just post it and don't worry about it. Honestly, don't worry about it. Just post it. Some of my earlier videos are cringy beyond belief. It doesn't matter. The more you post, the more you practice, the more perfect it gets. Also, now again, that we know our mission, our content pillars, we know we're going to film in locations that feel good to us, or we're going to make faceless content that aligns with us more. You can be more authentic and be you. You don't have to put on airs and you don't have to be someone different. Just be who you are. And that helps too. Don't get on and be like, hi, everybody, I'm amazing and blah, blah. No, just be you. If you feel like sitting there this day and you feel like talking like this, go ahead. If you want to be like me and use 1,000 hand signals that day, go ahead. Be authentically you all of the time when you're making your content. And again, focus on your unique selling proposition, your unique point of view, your unique way of looking at the world. You can talk about your skills, your achievements, your art, your thoughts, but again, just be you. That makes it easier to make content. When we get in our head and say, oh, well, I want it to look like this, but it doesn't. Or like, think about it like when you go get a haircut and you want to look like a movie star, but your hair doesn't have the same texture or length of a movie star. You can't have that haircut. You got to find the haircut that looks for you. Same thing with your content. You can't copy somebody else's content because it's got to be your content. Again, use the tips at your disposal. Use the ability to have the research done for you. Go to answerthepublic.com. I do find that for a lot of people who feel uncomfortable on camera, having just that little bit more research and planning makes the difference. Having the scripts outlined for them or even written for them the first few times makes it work a little bit better, and it keeps you a little bit more organized. And then also, I would say work on your body language. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean you have to sit like this all the time. Because if you notice, I'll start the video sitting like this, but when I have to edit or move it, I'm like down here. And so like most of the time I end the videos with you like this. Don't worry about that. But what I mean by that is, if you talk with your hands normally, talk with your hands. If you are somebody who has a lot of facial expressions, use them. Don't worry about it. If you stand up straight all the time, can you teach me how to do that? Because I would really like to do it. If you are somebody who prefers to have more of a relaxed kind of body posture, do it. When you use your body language to your benefit, it makes a difference. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be you. And I know that you're probably all rolling your eyes right now and saying, this is the worst advice ever. But I guarantee you, when you start feeling more like yourself and you don't think you have to sit on your hands, or you don't think that you have to be happy all the time on the days that you're not, it takes away that level of fear being on top of the camera. It takes away that level of, I don't know if I can do this. Rather, it just turns into, I got something to say. I know what I want to say. It aligns with my mission. I've got my content pillars. I've decided if it's going to be an action or selling piece of content, or if it's going to be more of a connecting, nurturing piece of content. I'm good to go. Someday I might have makeup on and be all done. Someday I might just be sitting there like this. Okay, cool. It's you that makes all of the difference. Again, as I've said before, just a reminder of make how you have a comfortable environment and do the stories. I can't stress it enough. The stories actually work. They work in general. I think you should all be doing stories. We'll talk about that in a different module, but for people who are nervous on camera, definitely use the stories because it takes away that nervousness. And then finally, please remember that most people are more concerned about themselves than they are about you. That 90% of the time, the trolls that you are worrying about are in your head. They are not online. Now, that doesn't mean people won't disagree with you, so embrace it. Because the more people who comment on your videos, even if they don't like what you had to say, that just means TikTok's going to push it out more, or Instagram's going to push it out more. But more than that, you want engagement. You want engagement on your videos. You can filter out comments all of the time. We just go to filter and take out mean words. But I will tell you that 90% of my comments on the entire time since January I have been on social media have been kind. They have been lovely. And people who have disagreed with me have done it in a respectful way. Now, some of those people who haven't, I've done a couple things. Block, because we don't need them in our life. Or I've filtered their comments. Or if they've gotten really bad, I've reported their comments. You can do all of those things. But don't let the fear of the unknown hold you back. Because again, when you are calling out your ideal customer and you are speaking to your ideal person to be in your community, they're not going to be the jerks. I find that the majority of the people I work with who are having trolls, who are feeling like they're getting comments that are rude for them, they're not calling out to their ideal customer. That doesn't mean, again, that some people may not agree with what you're saying. That's different. But don't worry about people being mean to you. That when we focus on our ideal customer, that won't happen. And if it does, all you have to do is send me a note and say, Nicole, this person's being mean to me, and I will take care of it for you. And you have the block button at your disposal. Here's the other question I get all the time. Do you film in the app or do you film on your camera? What do you want to film on? I don't mind. Whatever you want to film on will be great. Half of my content on TikTok and Instagram is filmed right within the app itself. Again, front-facing camera for the majority of the time. I've just started doing back-facing camera and I'm still kind of bad at it. But recently I have started, since I'm now really going to transition over to Instagram and YouTube as well, I have started myself filming on the camera on my phone and saving it in my photos so I can splice and dice content to look different on different pieces of the social media apps. So something that I might do a longer piece of content on TikTok, I may do a shorter piece of content on Instagram, and then I may do a whole even shorter piece of content on YouTube, excuse me. I prefer to have those three separate selves. That's just the way I work. Some people use something called Repurpose.io, where you just download it and it repurposes your content and it automatically posts it for you. You can absolutely look into something like that. If you are going to repurpose your content and you want to post your TikTok, say, on YouTube, if it's a short, or on Instagram, I do recommend that you download an app like Snaptick or something like that, where it'll remove the watermark for you. That way, the watermark is those little things that say, like up here, when sometimes you see people's videos that say, you know, TikTok here, or it'll be over here. Most apps, even TikTok itself, doesn't like when you have that watermark. But you can absolutely film and repurpose it in other places. So film in the app, or you can do like me and film on your camera and splice and dice it any way you want. All that matters is what you feel the most comfortable with. Recently, I have shifted though, and I will say that if you have an iPhone 14 or higher, I do like to film in cinematic mode because it does allow me to increase the brightness a little bit more. But that's just something that I like to do. Just a little tip if you want to. And I also use CapCut to edit, not for captions for me, or I edit in the app. So it either one, just depending on how I feel that day. And we're going to go through all of the different options when it comes to editing, because yes, editing is important. Again, as I say, is that I like having my content on my camera roll, because for me, I may want to use that content again in a different type of way, and I don't want it to be off of the app. but you can again use repurpose.io if you want to. I always used to exclusively film in apps. But what I do now is when I upload my content, I do use the captions that are native to the app. So I use the captions that are in TikTok. I generate them in TikTok. I use the captions for Instagram. I generate them in Instagram. And the reason is because sometimes the fonts that are used in captions don't always cross over in the back end. So on the front end, it all looks beautiful and it all works. On the back end, sometimes the algorithms cannot read things that come from different editors. And when I mean this, I mean for those of us who are normal, not the people who have special editing equipment and all of the special tricks and they have other editing people that help them. I just mean those of us who use it on our phone and we just want to put things out. This is where I will teach you how to use all of your pretty captions if you want to use them in CapCut, absolutely. But then when you get into each of the apps, how to generate the captions from that app and shrink it all the way down and hide them so people can't see them, but the algorithm can still read them. So let's go to the editing section. I absolutely used a different background, so you knew exactly what we were talking about in this section. I now, as I say, edit in CapCut now, and then I save it to my camera roll and then re-upload it in different places. So let's watch on how to use CapCut. CapCut is a standalone app that you will download from your app store. I use the pro version, but you do not need to use the pro version. You can still edit perfectly fine in CapCut, not in a pro version, but you'll see pro on the top of mine. I wanted to play around with, they have like makeup features and they wanted to have that script to videos and all of that stuff. I wanted to try it all before I did this course to see if it was worth me talking about all of them. They're cool. You can absolutely try to use them, but I don't know if they're necessary for you to spend the money on. So that's why we won't focus much on them here in this course. If I do an advanced course in some way, we will do it in there. So let's watch this video on how to edit in CapCut. I use the app CapCut to edit my videos. You can upload a new project and load something from your camera screen. Once you're in there, I generate captions by hitting generate captions or the T for text. Once I get the captions in, it helps me understand where I need to make the cuts or where there are splits in my language. At the beginning, you can see that there is a big space there that's called the millennial pause. We need to take that out. So when I do that is I find where I want to be. I go to the bottom of the screen. I click the scissors button that says edit. Then I hit split. It will highlight it. And you then just take out by hitting delete to get rid of where you want to be. Then what I do again is I generate captions. For me, this just helps me understand where there are spaces in the video because there are actually black spaces in between the text. You do the same thing. You hit the edit button, and then you find the entire length of whatever you want to cut. And then you hit the split button. Go ahead and hit the delete button again, and you're all set. I then continue to edit the captions for myself. I find it's easier for me as a beginner to do it this way, so I can really see what's missing and what is not in my video. I continue to go through the entire process, selecting and unselecting. When I am done, I generate the captions one more time, and then I delete them all because I want to add my captions in whatever app that I am using. I find that that makes it easier for the app to read what I put on the screen. If you would like to use the pretty captions in CapCut, you can obviously do that. And then when you import to whatever app you're using, we can generate captions in that app and shrink them down real small so we can still have the pretty captions, but the algorithm for whatever app, TikTok or Insta, can read what those captions are. I will show you how to do that in the next editing video. There are so many editing things you can do in CapCut.
This tutorial is just the basics because I think at first, getting good audio on your videos without the spaces and pause can make all of the difference. All you have to remember when you are in CapCut is to find the scissors or the edit button, the split button to highlight what you need, and then the delete button. When you are finished, you will hit next. And as you can see on the screen, it's getting ready to export the video that I am ready to put into one of the next apps. When the video is done exporting, you have the option to share to Instagram, Facebook, or right to TikTok. I choose other, so I can download this and put it in my videos, my photos, so I can upload wherever I want to go. I hope this helped.
As you can see, myself, I am not an expert when it comes to editing. I have to do things multiple times. I like to generate captions over and over and over again for two reasons. You may not want to, but I like to do it because as I showed you, it shows you where there are big breaks in your language, where you are stopping and making big pauses. And I like to use that scissor button, that split button, and just delete those all together. Makes life a little bit easier for me. I also like to see the captions as I'm watching because sometimes what I said may sound better in a different part of the video. All you do there is you hit that select button. So you'll hit the split on either side and select it. And then you can just move your finger and edit things around. Editing is something that you have to practice and you have to play with. You can absolutely add all sorts of effects like zooms and, like I said, makeup. You can add all of it. But in the beginning, if you can just add your voice, delete all of the pauses, and then if you want the pretty captions, you saw them in CapCut, edit those and put those in if you want to. Your videos will do better because there is not all the spaces, you're not taking a long time, and you start getting good at what I call Twitter language. When Twitter used to be Twitter, now I guess it's X. When in the olden days, they used to say it should be said in 140 characters. I look at editing in that same vein, which means that when I watch in the editing part of my videos, there is so many things that I thought sounded good that I don't need, that don't align with the hook, answer, takeaway. And so then on those parts, just delete, delete, delete. My husband will tell you, if you ever meet Buzz, he will tell you that I set my camera on, for me, 10 minutes and I just babble for 10 minutes if I haven't scripted anything out. And then I will go into CapCut or any of the apps and I will start deleting the things that don't align. But before I do that, I watch the whole video through 1 or 2 times, see what I like, and then I make a whole new video out of that long video. It gives you the opportunity to really hone in on your message. And it gives you the opportunity for you to say, wow, that was cool. I could do a whole other video on this topic that I deleted out of here. I, again, encourage you to start editing just to take out all of the pauses. Don't worry about adding all the special other stuff right now. You can do this. If you want to add a different angle, watch what you can do. You can move your camera. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can try it again. You can try to move your camera. That's it. You can just move your camera. You can move it up and down. Obviously not so great on this one because it makes my mic go away. But if you just move it like this, that's a new angle. This is a new angle. You don't always have to go in and add the fancy angles. You got hands, you got a tripod, you got anything, move it around that way. Then after you're good at deleting the spaces and you're good at deleting the pauses, then you can move into adding other cool things. But in the beginning, just focus on your audio and the point of your message and deleting something that doesn't need to be there. Now I'm going to show you how to use the edit inside of TikTok, because I think that is something else that you can do if you want to. I do edit from TikTok. If I use the creator search tool that I taught you about earlier, I will say I don't upload those videos from CapCut. I do just myself film them in TikTok. You can upload them from CapCut if you want to. I just don't. I don't know. There's not even a method to that. That's just my preference at this point in time. So let's watch how to edit in TikTok as well. But please know in the download section of this module, I have literally done for you a step-by-step with arrows on how to edit inside of TikTok as well.
Record or upload your video in TikTok like you normally would. On the upper right-hand side, underneath the gear, there is an icon. Click that, hit the captions button. And I like to delete the first and second set of captions because I like to add a different hook than what is coming out of my mouth. That goes over my head. It lasts for 3 seconds. Then when you find your captions, if you are somebody who wants to keep your pretty captions from CapCut, put your thumb and forefinger on either side of the captions and scrunch them down and pull them to the bottom of your page underneath your signature. If you're somebody who wants to keep the captions on, then you will take them, move them from the middle of your face and put them at the top of the video or across your chest. Next, we will find any dark spots in the middle of our video and get rid of it. Hit the edit button with the scissors, hit again the split button. That will highlight that section. If it's too small for you to delete, you can take your thumb and your pointer finger, move them outwards, scroll over, and you can find the section you want to delete, highlight it, and then hit the delete button. Let's review. We're deleting a section again. You hit the edit button for the scissors, and then you are going to scroll till you find you want the area to be deleted. You hit the split button, and then you highlight that text and hit delete. We all know I'm going to generate captions again, but you do not have to do that if you feel comfortable with what you have put on the screen. The next step that I like to do is hit add text, then type in 2 keywords that I want this video to be recognized for. I take my thumb and my pointer finger next to the edge of the, scrunch them down and bring them to the bottom right-hand side of the video. A description. You write in your description, make sure you are including your keywords at the top. And then you look at hashtags, find the ones in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, not millions. Then you're going to want to pick a cover. You're going to hit a cover. You're going to, in your cover, make sure that you use the keywords as well. When you get back over to your description, click the mention button and then go over to videos and then add up to 3 videos of yours that you like. Great feature if you do not have the playlist option. If you have the playlist, add it to the playlist and then hit post.
I know that went through a little fast for everyone. Just watch it over and over again and then download the connecting information so it can walk you through TikTok. Again, you do not need to pay for editing software somewhere else, and you do not need to worry about adding all sorts of fancy things to your TikToks or Instagrams right now. You can edit right inside of the app like I did here. And as you can see, we can scrunch text down and drag it to the bottom corners if you want to add keywords that runs throughout your video. You can scrunch text down if you have pretty captions on your screen and drag it behind your name so no one else can see it. You can also do what I did is I delete the first 3 seconds of my video. So that will be my spoken hook. And then I add text and put a headline on there. I prefer to have captions at the top of my head or right here. I don't like them low on the screen because it'll get cut off based on your name. I don't like it too high on the screen because it gets stuck underneath the search bar. Also, I do not like it too high on the screen because if you're watching on a computer or an iPad, it gets pushed up for the way that formatting is. I hope this video helps you. Again, please just focus on deleting out any of the spaces and the pauses in your videos to start. And then as you get more comfortable, then you can add in the zooms or the stickers and everything else. But first, let's just delete the pauses and making the videos as tight with that hook, answer, takeaway as humanly possible.
Record or upload your video in TikTok like you normally would.
Sorry about that. That ends module 9. Again, check your downloads, and I cannot wait to tell you more on module 10.